Mm. How's it going, everybody? I'm back. I'm back. I just finished watching The Walking Dead. Tonight's Walking Dead season 10, episode 6. This one I can speak to much easier than Watchmen because I mentioned to you that I did not grow up a huge fan of Watchmen graphic novel, nor was I a fan of the 2009 movie, although I thought the movie was just okay. John Corona of the Real Talk YouTube channel is the bigger Watchmen fan than I am. I wish I had him on my corner every Sunday to discuss Watchmen, but he's a busy guy, so I discuss Watchmen by myself with you guys. But The Walking Dead, I've been a fan since since the get go, 2010. I've been 10 years now, so um, let's discuss it. Let's discuss it. Let's get right into it. First up, I did some because I never read the comic books by Robert Kirkman, so I read up a few to kind of catch myself up with what's going on. And one fact that, well, I don't know if you call it a fact, more like a theory. Uh, Apparently, Rosita's son, it's a son or a daughter? Well, let's call it baby. Rosita's baby is not the product child of Rosita and Gabriel. It's product child of Rosita and Siddiq. Um, that's one theory out there. But in tonight's episode, God, did my heart break for Eugene, man. I mean, Eugene just can't catch a break. Holy crap. I mean, he had always had a crush on Rosita forever, right? And remember years ago, he couldn't get with Rosita because Rosita was with Abraham. Remember Abraham and Rosita was a thing? And then fast forward, it became Abraham. I'm sorry, it became Gabriel, Father Gabriel, and Rosita. And now with this theory, with that Siddiq may be the father of Rosita's child, I was like, ah. So in tonight's episode, there was this one moment. There was this one moment when Eugene was communicating with Rosita over the airwaves through the radio, and you could kind of tell that Rosita may have developed not necessarily a crush, but maybe she has now reached a point where she's grown accustomed to, or she's fond of, at least fond of Eugene. And so you could tell from the look on her face when she's talking to Eugene in this scene in tonight's episode that she enjoys, like it's a, like, oh my god, like it's a, that feeling when you spend the whole night texting with the person that you like, you know till break of dawn. He's just 'cause it's like, oh, I like talking to this guy. That is the expression that was on Rosita's face. um I read up a few. Apparently in the comic books, Eugene and Rosita did hook up. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I never read the comic books. So, but I don't know if that's the direction that the TV show is heading towards. But it's nice to see, even for just like that quick second glimpse, that maybe Rosita comes to a realization that the only person that's ever been there for her through thick and thin was Eugene. And of course, Eugene was being Eugene, dropping all kinds of vocabularies that are not necessary. But we love him that way. We would not want him any other way. So I just want to start with that. That was such, even for just like a brief moment, it was a sweet one. It was a sweet one. It's, I mean, if Rosita ends up with Eugene, it's an odd coupling to me. But then again, it's no weirder than some of the couples that I've seen in real life in the real world. I mean, it's true what they say: love is blind. You may wonder, like, what's a hot girl like Rosita doing with you, somebody weird like Eugene? But stranger things have happened in the real world. Stranger couplings have happened. I've seen a hot guy with the ordinary girl, or a hot girl with not so good looking guy. But that goes to the saying that love is indeed blind. It goes deeper than just your superficial look. So yeah, I just want to start off with that. But the big chunk of tonight's episode is about Carol and Daryl, and the other one is about Negan. Negan tries to get, what's the word I'm looking for here? Accepted into the Whisperers. The whole process is funny to me because it's basically Beta, Beta, the big guy that, the right hand man of Alpha. And so you could tell, even though it's very subtle, but you could tell that Beta feels kind of threatened, right? This other equally strong dude, Negan, who in the past was a leader himself of the Saviors. So he was, this guy's not a nobody. You know what I'm saying? He can stand up to the dead and the living. So the way they play that out, before Alpha ends up actually encountering Negan at the very end of tonight's episode, the way they play it out is like this Beta, you know, like, let's kill him, like, oh, I don't like him, like, let's put him through some tests, let's put him through some work, like, if he survives this, then that's fine, I guess we'll go from there, but if he doesn't, then his shit anyway. And I would not put it past Negan to even entertain the idea of knocking Beta off of his position, because um even though Beta knows the culture of the Whisperers, Negan is a fast learner, and Negan is just as strong as Beta, maybe not as big, but Negan proves tonight that even when he's surrounded by the dead, he can still come out on top. So I would not put it past Negan to try to knock Beta off of his right hand man position. I was like, hey, Alpha, ditch that guy. I'm more resourceful. I'm more reliable, more resourceful than he is. So now the question is this just a ploy, right? Is this just a way for Negan to get close? You know how you say, the old saying goes, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Is this a way of Negan infiltrating the enemy and get close to Alpha, and maybe, when she's not looking, that he would kill her? I don't know. I have no idea. So it could be that, right? That's one theory. Maybe Negan secretly plans to kind of do the Alexandrians and the Hilltops a favor by getting it tight with Whispers, and then maybe end up killing um, Alpha. But the question is, what does he gain from that? What does he stand to gain? What does he stand to lose if he doesn't do that? See, that's the question you got to ask to see whether or not Negan has an angle to all this, joining the Whisperers thing. Um, so, but before I get to the Daryl and Carol, I mean, oh my God, Negan just could not shut up, man. Yeah, yeah. Negan, right? He can talk you to death. He can come up with the funniest innuendos. Um, when he notices Beta getting on his knees in front of Alpha, and then Negan drops the blowjob joke. It's like, yeah, in the past, girls have done blowjobs on me, but I was never on the giving end of that. I knew that he was gonna drop the blowjob joke when he saw freaking Beta kneeling. It's like Beta just handing that opening to on a platter to Negan, for Negan to just make that joke. It's just so it's so easy, man. It's so easy. Of course, Negan is gonna do that. Of course. And also that joke about like, oh, what are we digging? Like, what size? What depth? What width? Sometimes I wonder because Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan delivers those funny lines so what's the word I'm looking for? It rolls off his tongue so nicely, so effortlessly. I sometimes I wonder if Jeffrey Dean Morgan actually contributes uh, to some of Negan's lines. You know, maybe he kind of collaborates with the writers before before they shoot the episode. It's like, oh, Negan would say this, or like, oh, this part right here. How about if I say this? I bet you that is a possibility that may have happened. Because man, Jeffrey Dean Morgan just he makes it so natural. He delivers those lines with ease. I love it. I love it. Um, I love it when an actor and their character are so inseparable. You know what I'm saying? Years from now, years from now, when we talk about Jeffrey Dean Morgan, we're not going to talk about probably his role in Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, we're probably going to be talking a little bit about his role as the comedian in Watchmen movie, but most of all, it'll be this Negan, and he made it his own, man. All right, so the next one about before I get to Daryl and Carol, the other smaller chunk is with regards to Siddiq and his helper Dante. Now, I read up some of the fan theories out there on the internet, and some of the theories suspects that Dante, the assistant doctor that's been helping Siddiq within at the clinic, some of the theories out there say that Dante may be a spy from the Whisperers infiltrating, uh, you know, the Alexandrians. I don't know if that is the case. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. But as of right now, as of today's episode, I kind of like Dante. He's kind of a cool guy. Granted, he's a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? He's a bit of a frat boy. You know what I'm saying? There's some lines, there's some jokes that kind of cross the line a little bit on his part, but he's not like a jerk about it when he's being told like, "Oh, dude, that's a little TMI," or like, "Dude, that's too much." That's that joke kind of crosses the line, but he's self-aware and he pulls back, he backpedals. So there's some kind of good in him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, he can say, fraternity kind of stuff, but then when people kind of call him out on him, he'd be like, "Oh shit, my bad, my bad." So that's his redeeming quality. In tonight's episode, obviously, not everybody, that's an exaggeration. A lot of people are at the clinic because they have this bugs, I guess some freaking stomach flu or whatever that's been spreading around like a freaking plague. So everybody's been kind of get sick a little bit, including Rosita and including that old woman. And I just want to say that I feel really, really bad for that old lady that's kind of like on the bed, and Siddiq's like sitting next to her, and she made that comment about like, why do I feel like I'm napping next to the Grim Reaper? And she says like, well, you know what? I should be grateful because I'm paraphrasing, of course, in zombie apocalypse like this, for somebody like me to reach the age that I am, to even have the luxury of dying of old age, that's very rare. And she's kind of right. It's like usually you either, I don't know, die in a battle or die young because of whatever reason. But for her to reach that old, and it seems that she is at a place where she has accepted whatever fate that's coming her way. And so there's something morbidly sweet about that. My question is that if those people in that clinic, uh, if they are not, if Siddiq and Dante are not able to end up saving them, or if they do not get better and they end up kind of dead or dying, then they're gonna turn into zombies, right? So that's gonna be a lot of walkers in that clinic. So I hope they have a contingency plan if that happens. Um, Siddiq apparently has some sort of a sleepwalking problem. I don't know what that's about. He's rocking the baby, in the rocking chair, and all of a sudden he finds himself on the freaking tower. That's kind of scary. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on, Siddiq?" Like, I know that Siddiq has been having PTSD because of what happened last season. When he and a bunch of the other guys got captured by the Whispers, and the Whispers, severed the heads of some of them, put them on the stakes. But Siddiq got away. Siddiq has had PTSD, but I did not realize the PTSD came with sleepwalking, if that is the case. So my reaction to the whole Siddiq storyline, um, I'm intrigued. I'm like, okay, number one, is he really the baby's daddy? Right. Number two, um, this sleepwalking thing or this PTSD thing, is that gonna backfire on him? Is that gonna do him harm or do the people around him harm? So that's my other question. I feel like, is Siddiq an asset or a liability at this point? If he's a doctor, of course he's an asset. But if he's like freaking sleepwalking around with a baby in his arm, that's not good. That's a liability. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. But before I get to Daryl and Carol, I just want to say also real quick that I know that Michonne is leaving, right? Michonne is leaving after this season. It's gone. No more Danai Gurira. We don't know yet if she's gonna get killed off or she's gonna ride off into the sunset, but she's gonna be gone. And I gotta say that watching tonight's episode without Michonne in the storyline in any of the arcs, I gotta say I was not missing Michonne. You know, Garrett Simek is here. I hear Maggie is coming back. That's right, Maggie is coming back. The actress who plays Maggie, Lauren Cohen, left the show because she had a series on HBO called Whiskey Cavalier. But Whiskey Cavalier ended up being a failure after a few episodes, low ratings. Nobody watched it. It was shit. So she's like, "Oh God, all right, I'm gonna come back with my tail between my legs and ask for my job back." So remember, Lauren Cohen reportedly left Walking Dead because of salary or pay disputes, and because of that, she had now had that show. She thought she was gonna be big shit. She's gonna be like a big shot, like, oh fuck you guys, I'm gonna do this ABC show. But now she's coming back, and so Michonne is gonna be out of the picture, and Maggie's gonna be back in the picture and become part of the integral storyline again. But my point is that not having Michonne around into tonight's episode, I wasn't like, oh my god, where's Michonne? Oh, I miss Michonne. Like, why can't they just put in Michonne for like 2 minutes doing, I don't know, getting water from the streams or whatever, or from the well? No, no, not at all. Actually, tonight I was like, it's kind of nice not having Michonne around. I know it sounds bad, but I kind of, maybe it's the show's way of slowly but surely easing you into getting used to not having Michonne around. And I think at least for me, I think it works. I think it's working. So let's go to Daryl and Carol here. Last storyline. We talked about Negan. We talked about Eugene and Rosita. We talked about Siddiq. The last arc in tonight's episode, Daryl and Carol. Um, Long story short, they stake out the whispers all the way through the night, and there's that one tense moment where Daryl kind of guts open the one of the walkers, spread the blood all over himself, so he won't be smelled by the walkers, and it ends with Carol taking one of the whispers hostage. So this whole thing is in the aftermath of, remember, Carol almost shot Alpha in the head. Remember in that border where the head stakes were? And because of that assassination attempt, Alpha broad Alpha ends up broadening the border for them, for the Whispers. So that's not a yeah that what Carol did end up disadvantaging Alexandrians in the Hilltop. So, and I mentioned to you in my previous reviews about that, is this is just another way of the show milking it till the last drop, right? When when Carol versus Alpha could have happened episodes ago, but they gotta milk it. They gotta milk it till the last final episode of this season when we finally get to see Carol and Alpha duking it out in a battle because Carol's still pissed off about Henry. Um, so tonight is just the way I see it is just another slow progression heading towards that direction. Now that Carol kind of like now we got one of them, and Daryl is right now at the point of leadership that kind of reminds you of how Rick Grimes were in the past when dealing with the governor or the saviors. Rick Grimes is like, hey, if we leave them alone, they're gonna leave us alone. They're over there, we're over here in the prison, or they're there, we're over here. We're not gonna bother with them until something happens, and then war breaks out, right? Between Rick Grimes people and the governor, between Rick Grimes people and the saviors, and so that's where Daryl is right now in his point of leadership. It's like, we got our borders. We don't want more of our people get killed. We're outnumbered. Let's not ruffle any feathers. But Carol is at a point of like, no, if it takes me, freaking 16 seasons to finally get to Alpha, I'm sorry, 16 episodes to finally get to Alpha. If that's what it takes for me, then I will do that. Slowly but surely. So it seems like Carol has this grand plan now in her head that because she failed to assassinate Alpha in that on that field. Now she's like, okay, change of plan. Now I'm gonna make it more surgical, more strategic. It might take some time, but I'll get to my destination, my end goal, which is Alpha. So it's interesting to see Daryl and Carol right now. And Daryl is such a patient guy. Daryl's not the he knows that Carol is still stricken with grief and anger and fury about what happened to Henry. Um, so the way Daryl kind of handles his friend Carol is very delicate. You know what I'm saying? Um, what I mean by that is that Daryl doesn't come out and say, "Hey, Carol, you can't do that. No, don't do that." It's just like a little rope, some slacks kind of given away. It's like, okay, fine, I understand, you got to do that, but and then there'll be times when Daryl kind of try to reason. He tries to reason with Carol. Oh, all right, let's pull back a little bit. I know you want to go there, but it's like a give or take kind of negotiate between the two of them. It's interesting how they play out. Garrett Simmons says Negan with the Whisper for multiple episodes is great because he was with them only for one issue in the comics. And here I hope they built an arc with Negan Alpha. Okay, so there you go. Thank you for that insight, Garrett, because I never read the comic. So I appreciate you for sharing that insight with us. Those of us who are fans of the TV show but have not read the comic. So you from your comment here, it seems that you enjoy the fact that the writers of this show are taking their time in developing the arc for Negan and the Whispers, correct? So that's good. That's good. So I'm also interested to see how the friction between Negan and Beta is gonna be moving forward. Now that Alpha kind of semi accepts Negan as one of their own. When you have two testosterons like Beta and Negan trying to win over somebody like Alpha, ooh, oh man, that would make for an Interesting scene, man. Oh, can't wait to see that one. So, all right, that's it. Those are my thoughts. Those are my notes about tonight's episode of The Walking Dead, season 10, episode 6. What do you think of tonight's episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? And just like Garrett Simon, thank you, Garrett Simon, for chatting with me. If you know any more insights from the comic books relating to tonight's episode, share them. Let us know in the comment section down below. All right? Share your thoughts in the comment section. And as always, subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell. And if you can help support me, please support me at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Hold on, here. It says, oh, Garrett Simmons says, and there's weird rules with rape in their community. It might be odd considering Negan is highly against it. Oh, that's an interesting insight too. Yeah. So what you're saying is that, Garrett, that there will be some lifestyles of the Whisperers that Negan's not gonna be down for, right? Including the whole thing, rape thing. So it's gonna see. It's gonna be interesting to see moving forward, um, how Negan blends in, or maybe it would not be a smooth transition of how he blends in with the Whisperers. There'll be dramas along the way. You know, it's not like after tonight, oh, Alpha accepts you and that's it. No, like I said, there's gonna be that friction between him and Beta. There's gonna be friction between Negan and the way Whispers do their thing, their lifestyles. It's gonna be really interesting. Exactly, because they are animals. They are not. What's the word I'm looking for? They're not civilized. They don't have. Last season, Alexander's on the hilltop try to make their own declaration or a bill of rights. No, no, no. The Whispers don't do that. They don't do that shit. The Whispers like, whoa, the rules of the jungle, man. The survival of the fittest. That's the Whispers. All right, thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel. Let's rock this.